Hello and welcome to the latest in the player profile series from the Fantasy Legion. Alan Sean back again.
Really enjoying banging these out, Al. Who have you chosen today?
An interesting guy. It's sort of might be a changing of the guard at receiver, but their receivers from this team are going 43 and 44. This guy's slightly edging the other one out. It's Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
He's going ahead of DK Metcalf. 43, Sean. Are you a buyer or a seller at that price?
No, I don't like Tyler Lockett's price. I would much rather swerve for Metcalf, and I have done so a few times already this year. I'm more comfortable taking Metcalf. It's quite interesting because a lot of experts are seeing, from what I've read and looked at and the different sites, they seem to think that Metcalf's going to do about the same. I think that's a bit weird because how can he do the same? I mean, Tyler Lockett is trending down. Let's be honest. He's had a few injuries. We know he has been very good. We know that. We still know there are some games left in him. We can see that. They are a very interesting run-first team, but when they do throw, they do get a lot of chunk yards. Tyler Lockett's been a big beneficiary of this from Russell Wilson, and there is chemistry. However, in the second half of last year, I noticed an awful lot of chemistry with Metcalf. And I think, how can Metcalf not kick on from 900 yards and maybe get 11 or 1,200? That seems realistic and fair, assuming he plays the full season, right? I think that's fair, you know. And then touchdowns are very difficult to predict. But I think in our offense, 8's fair, 7-8's fair. So I much prefer Metcalf's situation. I think it's logical, sound, and he could be the number one. Is a changing of the guard, exactly as you said at the beginning.
I think, with Metcalf, he's a totally different sort of player. He's sort of more of a physical specimen, like you say. Tyler Lockett's been the beneficiary of some very good trickery from Russell Wilson. He's very accurate with all around the field, really. But it's deep throw. They're really creative with some of those plays, and he's a beneficiary. I think he summed it up pretty well. Injury concerns, that still worry me. I still don't really trust him from that standpoint, and much rather take Metcalf because I think he's going to get more red zone looks. I think Lockett's going to be more boom or bust, really. He's going to get some big catches some weeks, especially in the home games. Although, will they have a 12-man this year? We don't know with all that's going on.
But we can't see anything else other than a big improvement to Metcalf's stock value as the season
starts.
This
is about Tyler Lockett, so you got to tell me about him. Should I?
Yeah, I know, but that by definition means that someone has to decrease, and that is Tyler Lockett, I'm afraid. I see that the changing of the guard coming quite swiftly this season. I think it's Metcalf's now. I think he's a different kind of player, so I'm excited to see what he can do.
A few players going below Lockett. Obviously, we talked about Metcalf. Terry McLaurin, I know you're a fan of.
Yeah.
DJ Chark. I mean, who would you... Devontae Parker?
Well, it's kind of interesting. This is a fairly easy deciding factor because another reason I kind of like those other players like Metcalf and Chark is simply because they're in offenses where, let's be blunt, the running games aren't really amazing. They're okay. Leonard Fournette had a good year last year, but he also had a poor year the year before last. I've got big concerns over him. But I think the beneficiary, of course, is the wide receivers, and it always will be because they're chasing games. Same with the Redskins, or whatever name they're going to end up becoming. So Washington, we'll call them. They're going to end up chasing games all year long. And I think McLaurin can receive an uptick in volume again, potentially, until they stabilise and maybe it changes. So that's the way I look at it so far. I think Tyler Lockett, just the volume alone is trending.
He doesn't excite me at all. I don't think I've drafted in quite a few leagues already this year, dynasty leagues, and I haven't taken him once. And I don't see myself taking him either. I just prefer the younger players that might have more upside. I don't see him exploding on the numbers he's done in the past. And I think there's a real possibility of injuries.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation. I know that the ADPs here. The ADPs are pretty, his ADP is still quite high, actually. Lockett's is still quite high. And I know Metcalf's is, but even if Metcalf's floor is the same as, his ceiling and floor are the same as last year, strangely, I could live with that because that consistency is okay. Whereas with Tyler Lockett, for some reason, I just can't accept it because I just don't know if I'm going to get that every week. I don't know what I'm going to get from him, to be honest.
Wide receiver 20 overall he is, so...
Yeah, no, I prefer other players that are a bit behind him anyway. So, no, it's a swerve for me in this situation. I can't see me earning any shares. And let's be honest, when was the last time I owned a share of Tyler Lockett in the last 3 years? I haven't.
Okay. Someone defend Tyler Lockett in the comments because we both shredded him really at that.
Yeah, and don't be Tyler Lockett's mum. We want to see someone with a bit of...
I don't mean homer Seattle fans. Give us good reasons why you like him. Has he done well for you in the past? Do you trust him? Can you see him, can you see his ceiling rising? Because I can't. Whereas Metcalf, obviously, he can totally rise. He came on strong at the end of the year, so I definitely... It almost looked like he was the preferred target rather than Lockett. As
how it felt. Yeah, it's how I saw it. Yeah, it's how I saw it developing.
But, it's a funny old game. Things, can change. And let's see what happens. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe for more. And thanks to Sean, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Al.